Hello everyone. Yes, I would like to start first this week.
Please go ahead, Dana.
I have a topic about satire. Not sure in English that word, but recently I listened to Ajahn in a Thai discussion, and it made me think about satire that a little bit confused and make me think satire that we use at the moment seems not the right word that Buddha teaches. For example, when we see people have a good mind and they do good deed in the society, if we are Buddhists, we will call that word sati for those actions. But for the people that they are not Buddhists, is it sati? For example, they have different religions and they have the same mind and they share good deeds in the society, but they don't really understand what is Buddhism because they are not Buddhists. That action, if we call satire? I'm just curious about that. Yeah, that's what I would like Ajahn to explain more about satire. What type of what is satire really mean? Thank you.
Kunsana, what is that?
I think that whether we call ourselves Buddhists or don't call ourselves Buddhists, we don't understand very much about what sati
Hello.
is.
I
Like you
think
say,
sorry. I think she tried to say sattha, right? In international word, we say sattha or Thai.
are you talking about sati or sada?
Sattha, confident.
Yeah, confident.
Oh, sada,
Sattha.
sada,
Yeah.
yes. So I think the same point, whether we call ourselves Buddhists or we don't call ourselves Buddhists, do we understand anything about what sada is? Like you said, we think if someone performs good deeds that this is sada. But actually, how can we tell by the outward appearance what the chitta is? How can we tell at which moments there is sada? Can we even say now for ourselves there is sada? At which moments is there sada? Because we can say, oh, we're attending a Dhamma discussion, we're listening to the Dhamma, this is good deeds, or we're helping those who are poor or sick, these are good deeds. But the citta is only kusala for a moment. Sada only arises with the kusala cittas for a moment, and then it's gone. So we cannot just say when there are good deeds, looking at the appearance, that there is sada. So this is the misunderstanding, no matter whether we are Buddhist or not Buddhist, no matter we have been brought up in this or that religion, without understanding about dhammas as anatta. Nothing can be understood about sada. It doesn't belong to this person or that person or this situation or the Buddhist or the Christian. It's a dhamma that arises with kusala cittas only. So when helping the poor or attending the dhamma discussions, after seeing and hearing and smelling, tasting, touching, what kind of cittas arise? Mostly cittas with ignorance and attachment, no sada at those moments. And at the moments of seeing and hearing, no sada at those moments. So sada is the purifying cetasika, but it only arises with the kusala cittas, with sobhana, beautiful cittas for a moment and then gone. So rather than thinking about who is a Buddhist and who isn't a Buddhist or this or that situation or this or that deed, what about understanding the Dhamma at this very moment? understanding the nature of Sada right now. Because if there's no kusala chitta at this moment, no Sada can be arising with it, purifying the chitta and the other cetasikas that arise together.
I'll just add a couple of brief words to your question, Dani. The kusala that you mentioned of doing good deeds and helping others in society is not exclusive to the Dhamma. It is known to the whole world. It was known before the Buddha's enlightenment, and it's known in other teachings. So people have moments of kusala. Everyone may have moments of kusala in a day, and that would include, of course, the mental factor of saddha that you mentioned. So kusala is kusala whenever it arises, in no matter which individual. It arises independently of knowing anything about the Buddha's teaching. It can arise. What is exclusive to the Buddha's teaching is the development of understanding of the nature of conditioned realities. Other teachings do not contain this aspect of kusala. It is the highest kind of kusala. But only in the Dhamma can there be learnt about the conditioned realities that form the present moment. Yes.
And John, I think it is more or less from this aspect that Danny is asking the question, that I think most Buddhists, they hear about confidence, saddha in the Buddha, in the Buddha's teachings, which means by that virtue that it cannot happen in the case of people who have not heard the Dhamma and do not know the Buddha's teachings. So can you say a little more from that aspect?
Confidence in the Buddha's teaching has to refer to confidence in the development of understanding. So, because that is the kernel of the Buddha's teaching. But I think Dani's question referred specifically to mundane kusala performed in deeds done in society, helping one's fellow neighbors and etc. That kind of kusala is common to everyone. The kusala that is the understanding of conditioned realities can only arise when there has been the hearing of the Buddha's teaching. Is that the point, Sukin?
Yes, but I wish you would say more for this, about this distinction. Saddha that is universal to all kusala chittas, and the saddha that is, by the meaning, particular only to someone who has heard and understood the teachings.
So it's the same for all the sobhana jetasikas that arise at a moment of understanding of conditioned realities. They are all unique to that level of understanding, but it's not possible to say any more about how they differ from the same mental factors that arise outside and the understanding. So they have the same characteristic and function at a moment of insight as they do at a moment of mundane kusala.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's still like, why is it so generally used that, in the normal context that someone has saddha in the Buddha? In what context is that used? Why is it, you hear that so often?
We hear it so often, but is there any understanding of what the Buddha is? what the teachings are. Like someone may go to the statue of the Buddha or go to the temple and show their so-called confidence in the Buddha, but without any understanding of reality now, seeing now, hearing now, dharmas that are anatta. Is there any kusala confidence at those very moments? So without understanding, it can't be known at all. We just use the words about, oh, because I'm a Buddhist, I have a lot of confidence in the Buddha. But without understanding about what the truth is now, about what dharmas are at this moment, what the nature of sada is, it doesn't mean much at all. It
And
can be just like a Christian going to church with lots of confidence in God. But
And now I'm
actually,
thinking that
no
perhaps it's just
understanding.
confusion. It's just a confusion amongst most people. I think perhaps the distinction is in adhidhana, which is can only be particularly to the Buddha's teachings, like the confidence that Achan has always often used with connection to adhidhana.
With
It
I
is
think it,
connection
understanding,
to the
with
path.
understanding of dharmas,
Yeah,
yes, with
yeah, yeah, yeah,
understanding of
yeah,
the path, because
yeah,
sada
yeah.
is the purifying cetasika, so confidence is the adhitthana, which develops with right understanding, and the other paramis, not the conventional idea of confidence in the Buddha.
I think it signifies a certain level of firmness of understanding. When the understanding becomes firmer, the confidence increases. And so it's indicating that there's not just the odd moments of awareness and understanding, but it's more than that. So there is a firm understanding of the path. That is the development of the path taught by the Buddha. I'm sure Ajahn will be able to say some words on this aspect also.
Usually, when we don't hear anything about the teaching, about the truth of what is there, we use the term we use for sattha. See, and if there is no hearing about the teachings at all, do you hear the word sattha? See, no word at all. If we don't study about the teachings, about the truth, so sattha is a reality. But so many wholesome realities or cetasikas are there, different, so very subtle difference between each one. That's why at moment of kusala arising, there are so many mental factors or cetasika arising. Each perform its function. So what is sattha? See, as it said, purify the citta and the cetasika which arises together. What does it mean? It means that without sattha, without any wholesome cetasikas, citta is so dirty, it's not clean at all. Who knows that when there's no wholesome moment, they are usually unwholesome moment if we don't talk about the other kinds of citta. See, the dirtiness of citta is any moment of ignorance and attachment and aversion. And as much as we can say or use the term, the word for it. But the reality is so very subtle. What is sati and what is sattha and what is panya and what is manasikara and what is cetana and so on. That's why hearing the word sattha, and when someone who listens to the teachings of the Buddha use the word sattha, is there any understanding of the nature of that reality, which is not other reality, not other mental factors at all. So sattha At that moment when it's there, it cleans because it's pure. That's why whenever it's there, no dirtiness or akusla can arise at all. And not just only satta, it needs other cetasikas as well to be clean, to be wholesome. Not any unwholesome reality can arise together at all. That's why beginning to understand any moment of wholesome citta, there must be many wholesome cetasikas, and one is what we say satta, the word in Pali, the reality which is clean and it purifies that which is there together with it because of its cleanliness. As much as we can understand the nature of satta, is that clean, is that pure. So when it's there, all cetasikas cannot be dirty or cannot be akusla. Is that enough to understand until it appears as the object of understanding? No doubt about it, because it has its own characteristic and its own function. But even non-lopa, non-dosa, at moment of kusla, nothing appears as it is. Only one object, which experience and object, all of them has to be wholesome, because experience is that object with wholesomeness. That's all, as much as we can understand, because it does not appear yet as it is. Right now, at moment of kusala, satta does not appear, but it's there, purified the cetasikas and citta, not to have a kusala reality arising at that moment. That's all, until it's there known, experienced directly with understanding. So what is satta in truth? What moment? In daily life, paying respect to the idol, see, or something. Someone pay respect to the fish when it's different from any other fish. Just pay respect to that, or respect. Pay respect to the tree, see, anything can be object of respect without satta when it's unwholesome, no understanding what makes it that such deeds. But goodness or wholesome realities should be respected. Is that right? And satta is there at that moment. It's clean to know the object which should be respected. Anytime in life. So without satta, understanding the kusala of kusala cetasikas, it's not there. We pay respect to anyone because of custom or training from childhood to pay respect to such and such. But is that sudden or no understanding at all? What is that? And paying respect can be at moment of understanding the goodness of wholesome reality. Even we don't need to pay respect by different manners, but the mind at that moment, the kusala moment, understand the truth of the nature of goodness, wholesomeness is there to be respected. So at moment of respected truth, understanding the truth is there satta, the citta is clean, pure, akusala cannot arise at moment of understanding what is respected, goodness or wholesomeness only. So at moment of paying respect to the Buddha in mind or by any manners, at that moment it's clean, it's pure, away from dirtiness or akusala. That is sattva. And there must be other wholesome cetasikas as well, not just only sattva. At moment of helping the other, see, is the citta pure, away from greediness, see, or clinging to that which is given. So the pure moment and the impure moment must be different, kusala and akusala. And if any cetasika does not show up, how can it be known? But learn about it is conditioned to recognize it when it's there appearing, understanding the truth that it cannot be anything or anyone at all. It has its own characteristic, its own function, purify what is there, because it's so pure, it's clean. So one can understand that which is not clean, the clean cloth or the dirty cloth. See, when there is cleanliness, when it's clean, it means that it's not dirty by any dirtiness at all. So it's that which can be talked about, to learn about, to attend to, little by little, to understand the truth of actually each moment is no one and nothing at all. Only different realities arising by conditions. Is that pure? Is that clean? No attachment, no aversion at that very moment. That's why don't just follow the word and the meaning, but the nature of that represented by such words.
Anachan, it seems that when it's the other kind of kusala, the chitta is pure by virtue of saddha. But when there's understanding makes it even more pure. Is that true?
Different levels of understanding too. Different levels of saddha too. Saddha without panya, see, but it's pure, away from dirtiness or akusala at moment of giving things away, not buying, thinking about the result, but giving is giving, just give away for the other's benefit.
So what you're saying is that even in dana, there are many levels, some more pure than another.
With right understanding or without understanding, but there must be cetasikas enough to condition citta to be away from akusala. Because usually akusala is there so very quickly. Aswa, for sure, and other too, with the conditions for nivarana and so on. Usually, one thinks about giving as at that moment the receiver is a pleasant moment, and the giver, depending on whether it's pleasant or just indifferent feeling. But citta is there. It's good enough, clean enough to give, to donate, or to have someone for their welfare and so on. Different moment, different reality. At moment of giving for the other's benefit, the citta can be so pleasant. It's time to be able to help the others away from sufferings. Or ignorance. Citta is clean and clear, pure at that moment by acetasika, sattva cetasika, arising, performing its function to clean or to clear, to purify the reality which arises together, because it's clean, it's clear, it's pure. Nothing can arise together to make it not clean.
And Dane, we don't have to call that citta at the moment of giving. We don't have to say it's Buddhist or non-Buddhist, because when the citta is clean, when it is pure, when saddha arises with it at that moment, it's the nature of that reality. So it doesn't matter whether it's called this or that. It doesn't belong to a Buddhist. It doesn't belong to a person. It's just the nature of the citta at the moment of kusala. And as Sukhin pointed out, that saddha develops as the purity develops. So at moments of understanding of the truth, the saddha is even greater purity, but it's just for a moment, also not belonging to a Buddhist, a non-Buddhist, or anyone. It's just the nature of the Dhamma. So the main point is that this Dhamma, like all other Dhammas, are anatta.
Thank you for the explanation, Sarah, John, and Ajahn. I think I may confuse with the explanations. One phrase that I used to know before, that sattha in Buddhism, it is not the thing that just doing good deed to people, doing donation, we call sattha. Well, sattha in Buddhism is much more than just doing good deed. For example, sattha mean we not only just doing the action, but we also have a strong belief in karma and understand the realities of life that we call sattha. And also sattha in Buddhism, it means we as Buddhists, we try to understand the reality when we try to learn the Buddha's Buddha lesson, Buddha's advice, that we call sattha. So I'm not quite sure this explanation and what I understand is right or wrong. I really accept and understand what Ajahn and Sarah and John just mentioned, the purity of sattha. It is Dhamma, it is reality. It's not about Buddhist or other religions. But the thing is, the explanation that I used to know, is that correct or not? Sattha mean to understand and try to learn and believe in Dhamma that we call real sattha.
Yes, so
Thank you.
sattha can be used in different contexts. In the absolute sense, the deepest meaning, it is, as Ajahn and Sarah have been explaining, it is the wholesome mental factor that accompanies any moment of kusala. However, we can also talk about having confidence in the Buddha's teaching, confidence at at an intellectual level, a theoretical level, if you like, that the Buddha did become enlightened and that he had penetrated the true meaning of things, and having that confidence, one pays attention to his teaching. So that's another way in which the term saddha or confidence can be used. But ultimately, if that confidence in the Buddha's teaching is kusala confidence, then the mental factor of saddha will be there. If that confidence in the Buddha's teaching is not wholesome, it might be something that, say, for example, a child, because their parents tell them how much understanding the Buddha had, and it's good to pay respect to the Buddha and learn his teaching and so forth, may just, because of being out of obedience to their parents, try to understand it, and there wouldn't be any kusala there, perhaps. So there wouldn't be the mental factor of saddha present. So there are those two contexts in which the term saddha can be used. They are not contradictory, but they are, one is the conventional sense of having confidence, as we understand that term conventionally, and the other is just in terms of what are the actual realities arising at the present moment. Thank you.
Is saddha Buddhist?
No.
See, it's a reality. Is it sati?
Yes.
Sati? Is it sati?
The reality.
Saddha is saddha sati.
Is saddha sati? Yes.
No.
No.
Is saddha
Oh yeah.
understand?
Sati is, yeah. Sattha. Different
And
thing, yeah.
is saddha right understanding?
If divided into context like Joe just mentioned, I would say no. Sometimes.
What do you mean in context?
Not sure I understand right or wrong, but if we if I think if I think about people who think sattha is just sharing good deed, we call sattha, I don't think it is sati, because just doing action but doesn't understand the reality.
That's why Dhamma is so very subtle. We learn about each different reality. Sattha is sattha only. Right?
Yeah.
That's why we learn little by little to understand the difference between each reality, which is so very subtle. Like sattha. See, we just talk about sattha at moment of giving, but giving with what kind of citta? Attachment. My relative, my son, my sister, my daughter, and so on. Is that giving with saddha?
Giving is not sattha.
So just the outer appearance cannot be the truth. For example, sattha has to be moment of wholesome cittas only.
Understand that, yeah.
But it does not appear to be known because so many cetasikas are there together. And without learning about each different one, how can there be the understanding of the differences between sattha and other wholesome cetasika? Sattha can arise without panya, but panya has to arise with sattha. Chitta has to be pure. The reality which is pure is there. So everything arising with it is pure because of its function, purify what is there together. When it's there, whatever is there is pure. And who knows about different Jetasikas without the realization of the Buddha? So who's the Buddhist? We used to talk about Buddhism or Buddhist. I'm Buddhist. But what does it mean? No understanding of the truth at all. Not even the moment of giving, for example, is that Buddhists have wrong understanding to try to have understanding by going somewhere, sit still, concentrate on one object. But is that Buddhist? So Buddhist is not the word or the name for anyone. It's the one who have confidence of the truth of reality taught by the enlightenment. It's not just in the Buddhist sense. It's not that. It's the truth, no matter who. Even a little child, boy or girl, about 5 years old, she or he can give. And it's not she or he, the boy or the girl, but the moment of pure moment, wholesome moment, conditions such deeds for everyone. Who knows whether the fish can have kusala moments, helping the other fish by some way, without the clean and clear and pure citta, without akusala. Can it be done? Even just when there is attachment, it's not kusala, it's not pure, it's not clean, it's not clear at all. Because loba is there. That's why we learn about the reality does not belong to Buddhism or Christianity or whatever sect. It's just the truth of everything that can be learned to have understanding of the truth of it. Otherwise, there can never be the understanding of the truth of whatever is now appearing at all. Each word can be studied. What is there now? It's real. Nobody make it arise at all. While we are talking, they're seeing all the time. When we do anything, seeing is there. It seems like it does not fall away at all. But who knows, just one moment, what is there? Seeing cannot be moment of hearing. They cannot arise together because it's the moment of different object appears to be known. Sound or smell, different way, different moment, different reality. And usually it's there clean citta, clear and pure at that moment, working with attachment, cooking with clinging and so on. That's why I learn to understand that all kinds of cetasika, the wholesome factors, mental factors, are different. But at the moment when it's there, it's the cause or the result, it's the kusala or the akusala. There are many ways to understand it more and more, little by little, to have confidence, and then citta is pure and pure and pure, without any doubt or any wrong understanding, any ignorance or clinging at moment of sattha is there. But panya does not arise. But when panya is there, Sattva must be there. That's why there are different moments, different citta, different cetasikas at different level all the time. Just arise and gone. So learn about the truth of that which is there, so very short, gone. But it can be known. The next one, which is the same reality, same characteristic, recognize it right now. Hardness is a reality, arising and falling away. When there's no understanding, is it pure or clean or clear moment? Kusala, wholesome, impossible. It doesn't mind at all who's there, girl or boys, or what nationality and so on. Dhamma does not belong to anyone. That's why when we talk about the Buddhism, what does it mean? Buddha, Panya, which can realize the truth. So the word that's, yes, please.
I was just going to say, for another example, Dana, you mentioned that sada is strong belief in karma. So those with a strong belief in karma have sada. But what does this mean? Is there any understanding now of what karma is? And what is a strong belief in karma? Because otherwise we just have an idea, oh, when one's house is flooded, it's bad karma or something, and one believes that what happens to one is because of karma, and therefore there must be strong sada. But none of this is any understanding at all. No kusala, those moments of just believing that whatever happens to one is a result of karma, because there's no understanding. So, what is karma at this very moment? If we don't understand what karma is and what is the result of karma at this very moment, then how can there be any confidence developed in what is karma? It's just believing what we've been brought up to think, that, oh, whatever bad events happen in life are because of karma and good events are because of good karma. But actually, it's not any understanding in dhammas. It's not any understanding in karma. So it's not the development of sada, which purifies the citta, because it's just thinking as usual with ignorance most of the time. So instead of thinking of different situations, there has to be more and more understanding of different realities, different dhammas as anatta. There has to be the beginning of understanding of which dhamma is karma now. What is the result of karma at this moment? Just to understand that there are only different dhammas arising and falling away, and they're all anatta, not the story of a situation as we're used to thinking of. So this is why we have to consider and listen and study about different dhammas on and on.
Yes, really
Instead
agree
of
with that.
thinking of the Buddhist belief and the non-Buddhist belief, it doesn't help at all.
Yeah. I just want to clarify one thing that I heard Ajahn and also you, Sarah, say about purity, Jettasika. Sattha here, when we say purity or purify, it means it is purified from akusala citta, that we call sattha.
Yes, it's like we read about the purifying gem. It's like a gem that purifies the other cetasikas and the citta it arises with. So no akusala can arise at that moment because the cetasikas that arise together with it are pure from anything dirty, pure from any akusala arising at that moment.
Yeah.
So this is the function of sada, to
Sattha.
make pure the citta and cetasikas that it arises together with. And as Ajahn mentioned, actually the characteristic of sada is not appearing now. So we just learned that this is its function, and it arises with all kusala cittas. Whenever it arises, the citta and cetasikas are pure from having any akusala, but it's for a moment, at a moment of reflecting now about seeing. Seeing is life now. It's a result of karma, kusala karma or akusala karma, who knows?
Mhm.
The
Thank
result of
you.
kusala or akusala karma, but it's just for a moment of wise considering, and then it's gone. And then clinging arises instantly, like when there is a belief, just believing
Yes.
what we've said. Attachment is there, and ignorance is there. No purifying cetasika at the moments of just believing but not understanding at all. So,
Yes.
as Ajahn said, each Dhamma is subtle, so we have to consider a little more carefully. Otherwise, we just think in the usual conventional way about what is sada and what is sati and so on. But actually, the reality is quite different from the generally used idea about sada or sati in Buddhist countries, or even the translation anywhere. Like we talk about awareness as a translation for sati, and people think about awareness while eating one's food, or awareness when one gets dressed carefully, or awareness crossing the road. This has nothing to do with sati. And the ideas you mentioned about sada, the conventional ideas like having a belief in karma or being a good Buddhist or trying to understand or listening to the Buddha, these are just conventional ideas about sada, not the actual understanding of the nature of sada when it arises with a moment of kusala only and then gone.
Yeah.
And when there's no
Clear to
sati,
that.
there's no saddha either.
When there's no sada, there's no sati either. Yes.
And it's also come along with panya.
It can be with or without panya. There can be
Be
sada
with or
without
without
panya, like at moments of kindness, moments of generosity, even for those who've never ever heard a word of the Buddha's teachings. At those moments of kusala, sada is there and sati is there, even when there's no understanding at all.
Okay. Yes, I got more understanding. Thank you so much.
But at those moments, Sarah, sada purifies.
Yes, even when there's no understanding at moments of kusala, for example, moments of metta, moments of kindness, the sada is there at those moments, purifying the cetasikas. No dirty cetasikas can arise at those moments. It's pure, it's good at those moments of kindness, courtesy, of respect, even when no understanding arises at all.
Yes.
But we have to understand that in the context that the citta is already kusala. So there are conditions for kusala citta to arise, and that kusala citta has as one of the accompanying mental factors, the mental factor of saddha.
Yes. I have something else I wanted to bring up, please, and that's about recently I posted about Sangha misused, a mistake, and many more coming. But there, other than the concept of Sangha, I was making to express a sense of community and support, that there are those moments in discussion that are experienced, and I simply hadn't the word for it. And I also see, for example, on the soil where I live, various festivals and monks singing and so forth. And those are not Sangha moments, if you will, but perhaps they are. That's speculation. So, but there are these moments where it's my Dharma, in a sense of my Dharma brothers and sisters, this sense of community and support for conditioning understanding, the development of Panya. And although I've been listening not very long in terms of many people here, I do find that those very tiny, fast, subtle moments, that there's a conditioning, an overall conditioning of wholesomeness more and more. So will you please clarify this? Thank you.
I'll just make a brief comment first. I'm familiar with that usage of Sangha as referring to a community of like-minded followers, if you like, or persons who are interested in the Dhamma. But I don't think that usage is found in the text, in the teachings, not in the suttas anyway. So in the suttas, Sangha, as far as I know, is exclusively used to refer to the community of bhikkhus. But I think what you're referring to is what is mentioned in the teachings is that association with the good friends, and it is those good friends that you're referring to, people who also share one's interest in the Dhamma and are happy to share their interest and understanding and thoughts and questions with others. And that is obviously a support for all involved. If you like, you could, this group that's discussing right now could be referred to as Sangha, but that usage isn't found in the suttas. Thanks.
Yes, I thought that at the time of Buddha Gautama, that the development of understanding, for example, people would listen and become enlightened during the evening's discourse. So it's a much higher quality than what is in this period of time, generally speaking. But I definitely do have those moments, and I find that the sada conditions more and more panya, which conditions more and more interest and appreciation. So it's a good thing to be here and have this wonderful opportunity to hear the Dhamma. Thank you.
Yes, I think when we pay respect to the Sangha, it is to those who have become enlightened to the truth as taught by the Buddha and passed it down for us to benefit. When we pay respect to Sangha of bhikkhus, we're actually paying respect to those who have developed the wisdom to in order to understand the Buddha's teachings and share it. So I think we can, like you say, appreciate those who teach and share and help, and it doesn't matter what we call it. But when I think of the Sangha, or when I pay respect to Sangha, I think of those who have become enlightened to the truths to share. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to hear the Dhamma today. And like you, I appreciate the community and the support of all those who have interest to listen and consider and share the Dharma. Let's see if Ajahn would like to add more about the Sangha too.
Usually, the Sangha means not only one, more than that, like a group. So we think of one Bhikkhu not as Sangha, one Bhikkhu. That's why there is Bhikkhu, individual Bhikkhu. But when they are together performing such deeds that Buddha laid down, those who have selected to be the group who can perform such deeds, the monks' deeds of Vinaya of monks, it needs more than one. When we use the word Sangha, it means a group. And for the enlightened person, each one is Sangha. But we don't talk about just a particular one. Any of them, all of them, is the Arya Sangha. So there's Arya Dhamma, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Just only those who have became enlightened, the truth, Arya Bukkala only. So it depends on the Vinaya to perform the Sangha's activity that cannot be done only by one person. It needs how many of them to perform the function of ordination and other function of Sangha according to the Vinaya. But usually it does mean only one or individual one. Only the Sangharatana. One and one and one and one, also all of them, those who have enlightened, no matter lay people or monks, young or old. So when we see one person, one bhikkhu, we don't say, I come to see or I saw Sangha, I saw bhikkhu, not Sangha. And according to Vinaya, it needs more than one bhikkhu to perform the function which Buddha laid down. How many of them can perform that function? Ordination or kathina or whatever. Just one bhikkhu, not Aryan, not the person who has enlightened, it's bhikkhu, but one bhikkhu who has realized the truth and becoming sotapanna, that is Sangha too. One or two or three, it doesn't matter, each one is Sangha. Arya Sangha, not only Sangha. It doesn't mean that only 10 must be Sangha of 5, but anyone who had become enlightened is Arya Sangha. As Ratana, the gem.
Thank you, Tanajan. Thank you, Kun Sarah. Thank you, Kun Jonathan.
So when you see one monk, you see Bhikkhu, not Sangha. But that one is the one who has attained enlightenment. That is Sangharatana. Anyone, all of them, is the gem. And there are many different meanings of Bhikkhu as well. So it's not just only that meaning of anything, depending on its characteristic and its function too. For example, is sati clean or clear or pure? Even it's not satta, but when satta is there, the other wholesome cetasika arising together cannot be akusala, cannot be impure.
Does anyone else have any topic they would like to bring up today? Sally, Nina, Kun Supatson, anyone?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, the topic a while back when I was in Saudi Arabia, but we ran out of time, we were talking about the object of Jaku Vinyana. If you remember that, there was I don't know, 6 weeks or 2 months ago. And I posit that the object is not merely the vana in one kalapa. I think it's more like a group of kalapas, the vana that's in a group of kalapas. It may be very tiny still, but I believe that. And Ajahn, you were talking about a microscope when we sort of run out of time and how there's different levels of microscopes, I think. You remember that conversation, Sarah?
I remember it. We had some discussion on the list too, and then you brought it up. Yes. So it's a bit of a yes, it's a bit of a mystery to me how you consider the vana, the visible object that's seen, could be the color from many kalapas rather than just one color, one visible object in one kalapa that is experienced. We know that when the characteristic of visible object appears, there must have been countless colors, countless visible objects experienced in order for the nimitta of visible object to appear. But at the moment of seeing, it's just one dot, one color from one kalapa that is seen.
I had some doubts because I think a kalapa is fairly small, and I'm just not convinced that just one kalapa is seen. I think there's more than one. But Ajahn, do you have any?
But Robert, one thing, one chitta, one moment of seeing, would have as its object, if it's the result of good karma, only that rupa which is pleasant, right?
Right, of course, of course.
So when you say a group of rupas being the object of one chitta, it must all be pleasant.
Yeah, so the group of rupas might be a tiny dot, okay? That would be in a tiny dot, there would be quite a few kalapas.
Yeah, but all pleasant.
But couldn't those, that you were saying each individual kalapa, say there was a dot the size of a flea, say, that would be billions of kalapas. And
right, but that's not what's seen, that's thought about.
You think each individual kalapa was conditioned by different separate karma. Is that right?
That's what it makes sense, because if it's more than one rupa, then I can't see why all the rupas involved happen to be pleasant.
Yeah,
for example.
I wouldn't say every all of those billions of well, what pleasant. Let's look at a dot of gold then. Let's please a bit complex. Say if we agree that gold, a nicely polished gold object, would be rather pleasant, seeing that would be the result of pleasant karma. I mean, it might not be, but just for argument's sake, you know, say a tiny dot of that was just visible, there would still be millions and millions of kalapas there, right? Is that correct?
Right.
Something
But
that was just
all
visible to the
arising and
naked eye.
falling by
Yes.
each their own conditions.
Yeah, yeah. But why would it have to be each one is conditioned by a separate karma, not the same karma that conditioned?
No, this is determined by the chitta which sees. If the seeing is result of good karma, then the object must be pleasant.
Well, can I just add or pose one question for Robert? Why does the smallness of a single kalapa mean that there must be many kalapas as the object of a single moment of consciousness?
Well, for example, if we're looking at something huge like the moon, we look at the moon, just in one tiny, just talking conventionally, one tiny object like a you know, like a spot. Okay, there's billions of kalapas there, right? To see that spot, according to your theory, there would have to be many millions of cheetahs, right? Before that spot was observed. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Then we look at the moon, then it gets astronomical how many spots, when, you know, how many kalapas that we're looking at the moon.
But there's every moment there's a whole field of vision being interpreted, isn't there? Every moment there are multiple conventional objects in the field of vision, whether it's a moon or it's a person or it's a pencil. But that's not all that's there. There's a whole lot else in the field of vision too. When the moon is seen, so is all the sky surrounding the moon is seen.
Right.
So I just don't understand why there's any difference whether the object is conventionally big or small, near or far.
Okay, well, look at it another way. If there was only one kalapa, say one kalapa, and the cheetah saw that one kalapa millions and millions of times, would it appear as a visible object, that one kalapa? That one sub-microscopic kalapa? Even though
no, you're getting confused between visible object and would it be seen in the conventional sense. The fact that an object needs to be a certain size to be seen. In other words, if it's a microscopic thing, it's not seen by the naked eye. But that's got nothing to do with the fact that whenever visible object impinges on the eye base, then it's experienced by eye consciousness.
So that submicroscopic particle is actually seen?
Not necessarily. Why? In what sense? Does it impinge? Is there visible object impinging on what is seen? What is the object of eye consciousness? Does not equate to what we say is seen at the present moment. They are different. They're different contexts. One is absolute reality, and one is conventional.
I would say the conventional is like a shadow of the ultimate. So the conventional.
How does that help?
Well, the conventional does reflect what is really underlying it. You know, the the ultimate is there, but it's still a shadow of the conventional is still a shadow of that ultimate reality.
The
Like
countless
when I
moment.
sorry, carry on. Yeah.
I was just going to say the countless visible objects seen, countless colors seen, and in between each one, there's thinking about the color, the shape, the form, the particle, and then the moon, and so on. So that's all the world of thinking, but without the seeing of different visible objects and colors, there wouldn't be any of these ideas about moons and particles. But moons and particles have actually nothing to do with what is seen, because what is seen is just what is visible. But the reason there comes to be these ideas is because so many visible objects have been seen and there's so much memory and thinking about them.
Yeah, but
I think
most people, if they look at the moon, if there was 10 people looking at the moon, they would say that is the moon. They don't think the moon is a tree. And the reason for that is there is different ultimate realities there. There's different
colors seen, different visible objects,
so
countless.
it's not completely divorced from the ultimate.
No. What is seen now is marked and remembered, so that eventually there comes to be the idea of the sunrise on my screen or the chair on your screen. So different visible objects are seen, marked, remembered, and thought about. But still, just what is seen is not a sunrise, a particle.
The term visible
would be needed. Oh, sorry.
I just want to make one comment again. The term visible in the Dhamma, it has a completely different meaning from the term visible in conventional sense. Visible in the Dhamma sense means that which the eye base is sensitive to, right? And therefore can be experienced by eye consciousness. So
right, and it boils down to a color. Before we think about it as color, it's still a color in the kalapa.
Well, it's a visible object. It's that which is that to which the eye base is sensitive. So we sometimes the term color is used, but the color can also mean a concept. So
yeah, of course.
it's better to use the term visible data or visible object. But the point is that anything that can impinge on the eye base is visible in the Dhamma sense, because it can be experienced by eye consciousness. In the conventional sense, of course, things have to be a certain size before they can be visible. But that's the conventional usage only.
But I think Robert may also believe that the eye base is also not just one kalapa. It also must be many kalapas, right?
I haven't posited an opinion on that. But however, nevertheless, the eye base is more than one kalapa. But that's irrelevant to this, I think. Yeah.
We're beginning to run out of time, so let's see what Jan would like to add to the discussion.
I think that it needs more considering again and again, a little more careful considering again and again and again. That's why just one by one question. Can citta arise only one at a time?
But that's for me, yes, of course. Only one at a time.
It has to be only one at a time. No matter what the question is. Can citta arise only one at a time? Never change the answer. Citta has to arise only one at a time. Right?
Right.
And when it experiences the object, it's the object which is experienced one at a time.
Of course.
So what is the experience? Is it known? And why not? Or why it is known? one citta arises, experience only one object. Is that right? And for
Of course.
seeing, that object has to impinge on the eye base. That which does not impinge on the eye base cannot be known. And only one
Right.
object at a time. So how very tiny that which is seen impinged on the eye base, that is very tiny too. So it cannot appear as different colors, the curtain, the television, the bottle, or anything at all. In order to let go something out of that which appear, it has to be only that which is experienced, not anything at all, not any other color as well. Only that which impinges, only one at the ibis, only one. That is one by one in a moment, in split seconds of split seconds. That's why I learn to be truthful to the truth, that each reality is so very subtle. That's why in Tipitaka, the Buddha's word, what appears does not appear as it is. And what appears by way of nimitta, see. What arises and falls away, only that which arises and falls away, only one arises and falls away, cannot be known at all, because the process of experiencing an object has to be by way of samantarapatya. Samanantarapatya. See, we learn about the truth more and more and more to have understanding, firm understanding, little by little, about the subtlety of what appears as, in truth, anatta, no one and nothing at all. So, understanding this condition, the idea that haven't been thought about, just live in the world of atta, from life to life, years and years ago, as something all the time. But in truth, all dhammas, it means each one is anatta, cannot be taken for colors, even only one color. But now many colors, and citta has to experience only one color, so very tiny, which impinges on the iris only, to understand the anatta-ness, not anything or anyone or different colors, just that which is seen. And in truth, the truth of it has to realize through the mind of each doorway, so very, very tiny and gone. See, that's why all realities appears as something nimitta of that which arises and falls away, unknown that how fast it is until it appears. And when it appears as nimitta of that reality, of each reality. Nimitta of seeing, what does it mean? Not only one seeing, now appearing by way of nimitta of seeing, that which is seen or object of seeing, only nimitta of that object. While in truth, only one moment, experience only one object, arising and falling away too. How quick it is. That which impinge on the eye base, only 17 moments of citta is gone. Only one process, and there must be other process in between. That's why no other realities appear, only seeing, and that which is seen, and that which is seen all together, the nimitta of a reality, and the nimitta of something, when they are all together so very rapidly, all mixed complex, to appear as people and things. Even one moment of hearing, what is that? See? No understanding of the truth. It's gone. But the ignorance and clinging is there. Condition the moment of thinking it as something. That's the idea. What is it? What is it? See? Taking it for something all the time, even one sound appearing. But it means the nimitta of sound. That's why the scientists just learn to understand how many objects is there appearing as sound from where and on and on. But Buddha taught about the ultimate truth, which is so subtle. So now, no matter what appears by way of nimitta only, nimitta of one reality, but not that tiny one, which one moment of citta arises to experience it. Otherwise, it cannot appear by way of nimitta, because only one, seeing, experience or see that object. The next moment cannot see, but vitaka just touch it to be object of the next moment by anantarapajya and samanantarapajya. That's why learning to understand the truth, it has to be careful, considering whatever is heard until it's clear. Chitta, one chitta, what function, patisanti chitta, one moment and then gone. But karma does not condition just only one moment of its result. More than that, that's why it conditioned bhavanga citta on and on and on, like the current of flood or whatever is there, until it's there, impinge on the eye base, ear base, and so on, one at a time. See? So very fast, how many quickly one citta experience it and fall. Even the seeing only performs the function of seeing. But the next moment, the object is there as the object experienced by the citta which arises after seeing. But that citta does not see. This is the teaching of the enlightenment. From his enlightenment, the truth is there. So after his enlightenment, what did he say? All dhammas are so very subtle, very deep, but it can be learned and it can be realized, not by ignorance or misunderstanding or thinking that I can think about it this way, but in truth, in life, no matter what life, reality, Dhamma, all Dhammas which arises in false way do not appear as it is. What does it mean? What is the meaning of does not appear as it is at all? That's why the moment of realize the nimitta of seeing, even that nimitta of seeing, not one, but the nimitta of seeing has to be experienced through minder, because minder follows each sensor, many process of minder experience that object see. All are not known. If Buddha didn't teach about the truth, he has enlightened too. That's why consider again and again and again to have confidence of the truth, whether it's true. What is meant by nimitta? It means that only one cannot be known by way of process, different function of citta, which has the same object. The citta before seeing experience the object which impinges on the eye base. It just knows that, but it does not see. The next moment followed is the moment of seeing, only one, and then gone. The next moment does not see, but it experiences object by way of the process, anantarapajaya and samanantarapajaya, and it needs more cetasika. So after the 10 cittas, or the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, the next citta needs vitaka to hold it, to touch it, to be known by the next citta, because the next citta does not see, but it experiences the same object. Who knows? That's why what is known in life, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking, that's all. What about the other citta in the process? Unknown. That's why it's the nimitta of seeing, the nimitta of hearing, at moment of hearing. A little more careful consider again and again, from this point to another point altogether, to have understanding about that which is so very subtle. That's why hearing again, consider again, understanding a little more again. It's the way to open as you go. Just get closer and closer to the truth, which appear only one at a time. At moment of hardness, arms, legs, and other things at all cannot appear. Only one doorway, and the process of that which experience the same object by way of nimitta. So we live in the world of nimitta, the world of atta, from life to life, years and years ago, unknown. What is there as it is? Just like the dream world. At night, when we sleep, there is thinking, dreaming, and now it's dreaming because it's not there at all. Now what is seen is not there at all. So very rapidly, from moment to moment. That's why there must be 3 rounds of the Ariya Satya, stage by stage, with careful considering, firmer confidence of the truth, the way it is, why it can be known so easily, because it's so very deep, the way it is, just arise and then gone. Only one process cannot be known. So many processes are known, because there must be mind door process in between each door process. Now, seeing and hearing, what are the mind door process? And Pavanka, as soon as that object gone, there must be Pavanka. Keep on. Pava. To experience what? By conditions unknown. Even right now, what is next moment cannot be known. That's why the word of the Buddha about to understand the truth of each moment, it has to be understanding that which has been conditioned, arising, appearing. So now, what is there is conditioned. If it's not known, the next moment hasn't come yet. No understanding of each moment. But before there can be moment of understanding what is there now, that which has been conditioned, it has a reason. It takes quite a long time to understand, not the other reality which is not there, which has not arisen yet, but only that now has a reason. Only that which has a reason is the object of understanding. And seeing, see, not, it doesn't matter how many moments, but the nimitta of seeing is there to be known. So all realities which arises and falls away can be experienced only by way of nimitta of one reality, nimitta of seeing, not one single moment of seeing. And only one single moment of seeing experience only one single reality. So very quick, arising and falling away. Before there can be the understanding of the dukkha, the arising and falling of reality, which is realized from the very beginning, the first vipassana jhana, nama, rupa, pariccheda jhana. At moment of seeing, can that level of understanding experience the citta before seeing or the citta after seeing? Impossible. It has to be as it is right now. What is there appearing? Don't mind at all how many cittas before or after, but the sign, the mark, the nimitta of seeing is there to begin to study it, to attend to that characteristic, not just hear about it and thinking about it or consider about it, but the truth is that we're talking about that which hasn't been attended to at all. For example, citta arises from birth on and on, not any moment without citta at all. There must be citta, and citta is not known yet. It's not the object of satipatthana to attend with sati and right understanding, sampajanya, begin to understand that which experiences the object. No word, but begin to understand the characteristic of that which is there, can be studied, can be known. When there's condition to consider it, anatta all the way. And anatta has to be clearer and clearer, more and more, when there is the understanding of the reality, no matter what. So now we learn about the realities, which is not the object of realization yet, but without the pariyati, understanding the truth firmer and firmer. They cannot be conditioned for sati or sampajanya directly arising by conditions. To know that all dhammas are anatta, not by thinking about it, not by trying to have it. That is not condition for anatta to condition whatever is there. Deeper and deeper, understanding what is there and be truthful to what is there. Seeing is there as nimitta of seeing, but there are other realities, moment too, before seeing and after seeing. But what appears is the nimitta of seeing, because not only one single seeing. There must be citta before seeing and after seeing and mind process and so on. Is it true what appears now is not the citta before seeing or the cittas after seeing or the mind process experiencing, but only one single moment of seeing. The other citta cannot see. How deep it is. Because it seems that it's seeing. No idea how many, but only one after sense process. The mind process begin to develop, to understand the truth. And what appears to be known appear to mind through mind only. Because each different doorway has to pass to mind to experience it. That's why learn to understand what is there, seeing, but it's not single moment, single seeing, but it's many moments. But what is there appearing is the nimitta of seeing only. That's why begin to understand right now uncountable seeing, because one single moment experience only one single object. Not television or carpet or shoes or anything at all. Learn to understand the anatta-ness of Dhamma, not anything, only that which is conditioned to be aramana-paccaya, to see. Without that, seeing cannot arise. Without that particular reality which is seen now, that can never be seen. So even that is paccaya for seeing to arise. No one. That's the way to consider Dhamma, to understand the truth of no one, no thing. Only one reality appearing at a time by way of nimitta. How subtle it is. No other way, not try to know citta before seeing or after seeing or mind process. But it's the moment of understanding getting closer to understand what we are saying, stage by stage. Is it true?
I think it's a very useful discussion, and I think we can continue next time. Robert, there's no discussion next week, but in 2 weeks' time, if you're here, then we can continue the topic.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you very much.
everyone.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์